Hey guys, Daniel Fennell here. Thank you for watching my video blog. This is a daily video blog of my daily Bible reading and what I read that day. And this is a blog that I basically I take notes along the way, and then I record a small video on what I've learned. And today, what I read was Esther 7 through 10. And this story goes, this is a great story. Just to kind of recap from before, Esther, she had invited King Ahasuerus and Haman to have dinner. She invited him one night, and then she invited him a second night. And then King Ahasuerus, he told Esther again, he's like, what is your wish? Anything you want, I'll give you everything up to half my kingdom. And what she asked the king is that he spare her life because her and her people have been sold to be destroyed in all the provinces. And the king, he heard this. He's like, who did this? Who's behind this? Tell me who this is. And then she points to Haman and she says, this wicked man right here. And the king, he stood up and he was enraged. Then he went to the other room. And Haman, he was terrified at this point. He is pleading for his life by Queen Ester. He's asking her, please have grace on me, have favor on me. I didn't know. Whatever he was saying, the Bible doesn't record this, but at this point, you have the king. He comes back, and his response was, is he going to strike down my queen in my own home? And as he said that, his guards, they covered his face. And one of his eunuchs, they said, well, you know, Haman, he had built these gallows for Mordecai. He could be hanged there. And the king, he loved that idea. So immediately he was taken out to the gallows to be hanged. And that was the end of Haman. But see, the decree, it had still gone out. And the decree was on December 13th, all the Jews were to be killed. And you have Esther, she throws herself at the king's feet and she's like, King, please have mercy on my people and reverse these orders. And the king, he can't do it. Whatever the king has decreed, it cannot be reversed. So kind of back up a little bit. After Haman had been carried out and had been hanged in the gallows, he also called for Mordecai to come in, and he gave the ring that he gave to Haman, he gave it to Mordecai. And then he gave Queen Esther Haman's home, and he put Mordecai as number 2 in all of the kingdom. So you have Mordecai. He was just a common man, and he went to become the number 2 in all of the provinces that the king was reigned over. Mordecai was number 2 guy. So the queen, she throws herself at the king's feet, and she pleads for mercy. Please reverse your decree. And the king, he says, once a decree goes out, I can't reverse it, but what I'll do is I'll give you the king's ring, and you write whatever you want, and write it in my name, in the name of the king, and put my seal on it, and it'll become a new decree. So Mordecai, he takes on this responsibility, and he goes and he writes a decree letting all of the Jews in all of the provinces on December 13th, they were allowed to defend for themselves. And any enemy that comes against them, they were to plunder all of their goods. So that's what the decree that he wrote up, and it swiftly went out on the fastest horses that the kingdom had. So now you have December 13th, it approaches, and it's about to go down. And you have the Jews, they are gathered together and they are ready to defend themselves. And a big battle takes place. And the Jews, they are able to overtake their enemies and plunder their goods in all of the provinces. And they demolish, they annihilate all of their enemies. And even in the city or the province of Susa, 500 men have been killed, including 10 of Haman's sons. So the king, he gets a report of this, and he tells Esther, he's like, wow, this is the report that I've heard. Even Haman's sons have been killed. What is your wish? Anything you want, I'll give you. And she says, can we hang the 10 sons? Can we hang their bodies on the same gallows that Haman was on? and that was her wish. So that's what happened. So now you have Mordecai. He's been promoted to this position of power, and now everybody in all of the provinces, they are fearful of the Jews, and they're afraid of Mordecai because his name precedes him. So then the report came in, and I don't know if I'm reading this right, but the report came in on how many men and how many people were killed, and there were 75,000 people that were killed, and the Jews were able to overtake all of them. So that's the book of Esther. It's a great book. You have the amount of events, many events. You have Queen Vashti. She disrespects the king. She's no longer the queen, and then now they're looking for a new queen. And you have Mordecai. He has a young cousin named Esther who's beautiful. They gather all of the beautiful virgins in all of the provinces together. They have to be prepared for a year before they come to the presence of the king. Then the king, when the minute that he sees Esther, he makes her queen. And then you have Mordecai. He hears of a plot against the king. He warns Esther to warn the king. He investigates. Those men are killed. And then you have Haman, who, as a result of what Mordecai did, he becomes number 2, and he goes around parading in front of people, wanting people to bow down to him, and the only person that won it would be Mordecai. So then he plotted to kill Mordecai. And because he plotted to kill Mordecai, and that was Esther's cousin, he didn't just plot to kill Mordecai, he plotted to kill all the Jews. And because of that reason, now Esther's involved, and now she has to plead for her people. And because of that, Haman is hanged, and now Mordecai's the number 2. Just a crazy twist of events, crazy story. It's a wonderful story. Especially, my favorite part is at the end when Haman is hanged on the gallows. The same gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai, he was hanged on the same gallows. So anyways, that was a lot. So what's the takeaway? The takeaway is this book is about trust and about courage. Trusting God, trusting his provision and his sovereignty, and also being courageous, stepping out and doing what is right, even though your life could be on the line. It's wonderful to take those principles away. And it just goes to show that no matter what, it's always best to do the right thing and to have courage in doing the right thing, even if your life if it costs your life, because God is sovereign and he's in control, and his will will be done on this earth. So that's the takeaway. Anyways, so tomorrow we're going to be talking about, we're going to get into the book of Job, and that's a great book as well. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video blog, and I will see you tomorrow. Daniel Fennell signing off.